Well, happy Thursday, good people. Just this past Sunday, we celebrated Christmas, and now that we are recovering and also preparing for a new year, before we say goodbye to 2022, I just wanted to take you guys down my Spotify route for this year and some of my favorite projects that were released in 2022. So, if you've been hanging with me on the channel for a hot minute, for a while now, then you know that I absolutely love music. I think every social media platform that you go to is going to have a taste of music somewhere in there because it's just infused into my life. And I love music in general, but the genre that has really won my heart for the rest of my life, forever and always, is gospel music, period. Okay. Gospel music is the soundtrack of my childhood. It's my whole world. The projects that came out this year in the gospel industry, unmatched. Okay, so I'm fixing to share with you guys some of my favorite projects that came out this year. So in January, to start off this year, Christian Brown, one of my favorite keyboard players and producers, he released an album called The Sound of Praise and Worship Unplugged Live. And oh my goodness, just everything that went into that album is so special. And just the journey it took for CJ to even release that album is very special. And even some of my favorite singers were featured on this album as well. And it was absolutely perfect. And it is definitely the definition of the sound of praise and worship live. And oh my goodness, I just love it. And then another project that was released, it was a single by Vernon Bird called Better. That's definitely a song that I have enjoyed streaming this year all year long, because whenever I get in those rough moments, I always play that song. And if you listen to it, then you'll definitely understand what I'm talking about when I say that it's very encouraging to me in that sense. So in February, we had a little bit of heat with Zacardi Cortez when he released his single called You've Been Good to Me. That song is so personal to me because it's really a testimony song. And, you know, for me going through many different things at a very young age, songs like that, songs like You've Been Good to Me, are just really, it just makes me reflect, and it just makes me grateful for what God has done in my life and all the things that he's brought me through. And so I definitely love that. And that is just besides Zacardi's alien voice that he has that is out of this world, like just the songs that he writes and the songs that he puts on his albums. It's just, it's incredible to me. And then another one of my favorite projects that was released in February was Lawrence Flowers and Intercession coming through with the album Merge. Oh my goodness, that album, a masterpiece. And I'm going to talk about it a little bit later too, but woo! And then in March, Miranda Curtis released her album called Die to Live. Miranda is just, she's incredible. She's just that one. You know, if you listen to a variety of gospel music and you put her into that mix, then you'll definitely understand what I mean by that. She just, the distinction in her voice is just, everything about Miranda. Oh my goodness. Then the summertime had some heat too. Sanctuary Worship released their single called Come to Jesus. And I love that song because it's very invitational. It's very welcoming. Come to Jesus is one of those songs where people who necessarily don't know God or may not go to church, that song is for them. You know, it's very just, it's upbeat. And I just love the vibe of it. It's so perfect. And then July, James Fortune brought the heat with his album called My Life. Oh my gosh, that album is a masterpiece. It is so perfect. The album is well produced, it's vocally insane, but yet it is so relatable. And this album has been like my comfort album this year, okay? Zebulon Ellis released a single called Complaining. He is just, Zeb, he is a vocal cheat code. I can't stand him. He is amazing. JoJo Martin released his album called Temporary Tears. JoJo is such a special voice to the already many voices that are already existent in the gospel industry. You know, you have all these great voices, and then, you know, JoJo, he just fits right into the mix of all of that. And I love his voice. And then my birthday month, September. Yes, sir. I will say one of the best birthday gifts I got this year was Zacardi Cortez releasing his latest album called Imprint. Y'all, the vocal ignorance on this record was insane. Out of all the albums that he's done over the years, it does not compare to this one, because this one just hits different. It's, woo! My goodness. JJ Harrison released his latest album called Believe Again. Let me tell you something. If you are in warfare mode or warfare season, that album is for you. It's got some tracks that will wreck you, okay? I mean, whoo! And everyone that was featured on there, perfect. Then in October, Tasha Cobbs Leonard released her latest album called Hymns Live. This one is a banger. I love hymns. I feel like for me, hymns still have significance in the church. I don't care what you got to say about it. Hymns still have significance in the church. You know, all of this new praise and worship stuff is great. All of the new vibes are great, but something about going back to sing the hymns, you know, whether if it's congregational or just hymns general, it's just, it's so therapeutic. And then this month, December, of course, like everybody's been releasing new music for Christmas. So like, I'm still catching up, but I will say one of my favorites from this month that have been released is Grace Gift, the 2022 version by James Fortune. Now, let me just tell y'all something. That Never Let Me Down remix track that's on there. Woo! That's been on repeat, okay? Being completely honest. Those were some of my favorite projects that were released this year. Now we are getting into Spotify Wrapped. There have been, you know, people going crazy over their Spotify Wrapped for 2022. And let me just tell you now that to me, my Spotify Wrapped is so special. When I saw it for the first time, I was immediately mesmerized by the accuracy, because it definitely matched up with the year and who I listened to. So I'm excited to share this with you guys. My top artist on Spotify this year is nobody but the one and only James Fortune. Y'all, I couldn't be happier. When I saw that, I almost cried because, whoo, you do not understand. If you were following along with my summer break and everything, it was rough. My summer break was, whoo, screw that, baby. This album literally became a crutch and a comfort album to listen to in those hard moments. And the lyrics really just resonates with me. And every time I would play a certain track, it just made me feel less suffocated in my thoughts, and that it just wasn't me, and that I wasn't alone in what I was experiencing. And that felt really relieving and good to me. My number 2 artist of 2022 on Spotify Wrapped is Lawrence Flowers and Intercession. Guys, this new album, Lawrence and Intercession, released this year, Merge. It's so crazy. It's a musical and vocal twist on what people have known to be praise and worship. And Lawrence has always been very unique, different, and special in all of the best ways possible. And I love his vocal approach on everything that he does. And I'm forever a fan, and he will always be one of my favorite male vocalists, period. I'll have you know that I was so happy to see this particular person make it on my Spotify Wrapped this year. The one and only Zacardi Cortez. Let me tell y'all something about Cardi. So like I said, back in September, during my birthday weekend, he released his album called Imprint. And OMG, like I said, it's a masterpiece. I'm always streaming this album constantly. I can't take it. I can't take the way it was written, produced, sung, played, everything. This is just another one of those comfort albums that I love listening to when I have those sort of rock bottom moments. And there's also some really fun churchy songs on there too that I love. And y'all know that I love when people take it to church and they can sing good too. Oh yeah. So this next person who is on my Spotify Wrapped, number 4, he is one of my favorite preachers or pastors to exist. He is a gift to this world. He is a gift to my life. And if I had a pastor outside of my dad and uncle, I'm pretty sure y'all know who it would be and whose name I'm about to announce. But he is not just a preacher and a pastor, but he is a gospel artist as well. And that would be the one and only E. Dewey Smith Jr. And last but not least, I find this hilarious, but number 5 is Shelby 5. The chemistry, the blend, the harmony, everything. You know, there's nothing that I can really say about Shelby 5. Like, they know what to do when it's time to do it. They are just an amazing group of siblings that can sing, and I love listening to them every time. And so that, my friends, are my top 5 artists on Spotify Wrapped this year. So now let's go to my top 5 songs on Spotify Wrapped. So my top song for this year was Reasons by Yana Crawley. This song to me is so dreamy. Oh, it's so therapeutic. It's so calming. And it's honestly one of my comfort songs. This song has lyrics to where you can interpret it to be either a love song or a gospel song, because you can direct the words to either your significant other or to God. It just depends what mood you in. Number 2, It's In You by James Fortune, featuring my favorite singer, Mignon Sarton, aka Minnie. That's what everyone calls her. That's her nickname. So anything that Minnie sings, I'm gonna listen to. Like, bet. You ain't even gotta worry about that. No doubt about it, honey. Listen. It's In You is also another one of those like dreamy, therapeutic, calming, reassuring songs. And I usually play it when I go to sleep, honestly. Number 3 is No Turning Back by Tim Rogers. I love a good quartet selection, okay? I love me some good quartet gospel. The genre of gospel music has been divided into so many like different subgenres over the years. And I definitely like to say that quartet gospel, yeah, it gets me every time. Number 4 is No Not One by Dorinda Clark Cole. This song is also like very dreamy, like the first 2 that I mentioned earlier. And the entire album from top to bottom is so legendary. Auntie Dorinda even just did a concert to celebrate the 20th anniversary of the album's release. And I grew up watching the live recording on VHS as a young kid. So don't even play with me. Number 5 is Calculated by Lawrence Flowers and Intercession. Like I said, Lawrence has always had this musical and vocal twist on praise and worship. And so this song, it's very different, but it's a good different, and I love it. So that's my complete Spotify Wrapped. But wait, there's more. Because on the same day that I saw that my Spotify Wrapped was ready, I went on YouTube Music and I saw that they had a 2022 recap for me. And I'm like, wait, huh? So 3 of my top 5 artists on Spotify Wrapped were also included on my YouTube Music top 5. Number 1, Lawrence Flowers. Number 2, James Fortune. Number 3, Zacardi Cortez, followed by Yana Crawley and Christian Brown. So just like Spotify Wrapped, my top track this year was Reasons by Yana Crawley. Number 2 was I'm a Christian Man by E. Dewey Smith. That is a classic, okay? Number 3 is Everything by Lawrence Flowers and Intercession, featuring Mignon Sarton, my favorite singer, Minnie. If you put Lawrence and Minnie together, baby, them 2 all by themselves blows my mind. And then when they get together, I can't take it. It's too much perfection going on in that. Number 4 is It's In You by James Fortune, featuring my favorite singer again, which was my number 2 song on Spotify. And then this one is very special and near and dear to my heart. Number 5, Lord Do It For Me by Zacardi Cortez. This song was from his latest album that I've been talking about throughout the vlog. And this song always puts me in a chokehold every single time. It was such a perfect time when that album was released, because if you've been following along, you know that the fourth quarter has had its challenges, okay? And so this has just been one of those comfort songs for me in those moments where I've had, some emotional days. And so this is a very personal song, and I'm glad it made it on my YouTube Music Top 5. In Couch Conversations, episode 5, I discussed how my deep level of worship has been this year and how much it's been elevated. And all of these artists and songs that I just mentioned have been a huge contributor to that. I mean, these artists like James Fortune, Zacardi Cortez, Lawrence Flowers, and Intercession, the way that they have let God use them on these new projects this year was just so special. And the sound that was released was much needed. It was refreshing. It was rejuvenating. And everything that I didn't know that I wanted to hear or needed in a gospel record. And even songs that weren't released this year, like songs that were from back then that I've been streaming this year, if it's worthy enough to be on Spotify Wrapped and it's still a hit, then that says something. Gospel music for me is just a special genre. It's a gift. There's something that satisfies me about someone who has written out exactly how, not just how they feel about God, but they've written out everything about how I feel about God and his character and everything that he's done for me and everything about him. And then to put that in musical form, that's bliss to me. Like, I love that. So that has been gospel music for the year. It has been a musically great year, honestly. Just think, this time next year, I'll be doing the exact same thing, hopefully, talking about all of the projects from 2023. Anyways, that is it for today's vlog, you guys. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Please join me again on Saturday, December 31st, New Year's Eve, for the 2022 recap. There are some things that I necessarily didn't tell you guys in the moment when it happened this year. So now at the end, right before we start a new year, you guys get to find out what all went down this year in my personal life and just everything with that. So it's going to be good. I can't wait to see how it goes. But until then, happy last Thursday of 2022 and happy almost New Year. And I'll see you guys on Saturday.